Coming to the aesthetic aspect, Indian Vedas teach a Brahmin that a Brahmin must not cross seas. He must not go to foreign lands. I am not talking about the modern Brahmin, I am talking about the orthodox Brahmin of those days. To cross Indian territories, to sail over the seas, to travel into other foreign lands was forbidden to him. If at all a Brahmin goes to another land, he will be excommunicated, he will not be accepted by the Indian Brahmins. He can no more be a priest, he can no more chant Vedic mantras. So Brahmins used to hate going abroad in those days. When that is so, how do you say that a community which was living in some other country, hundreds and thousands of miles away from Cape Comorin, travelled all the distance and got settled here in India? Such a community which was fond of travelling could not have laid down a rule that crossing the borders is a sin. So an Indian Brahmin hated going abroad. Then another point which is a little more local and technical. India is abundant in temples, thousands and thousands of temples are there. But as per the Vaishnavite faith, there are 108 temples. Or to be more strict with the fact, 106 temples on earth, which are called Dividesams, because saints called Alvars, they went physically to some temples, they sang in praise of the Lord there, they physically worshipped Him. So these temples were held in high esteem, they were labelled as Dividesams. Similarly, in the Saivite sect also, the Nayanmars were there, the Saivite saints. They visited a few Lord Shiva's temples, physically sang them, and these Saivite temples were called Dividesams. One interesting observation is, all these Dividesams, whether they are Vaishnavite or Saivite, they are only within the boundaries of India. All these Dividesams are only in India. Not even one Dividesam is in Germany or Iran or in any country of the Middle Eastern area. If these people had come from the Middle Eastern countries, at least one Dividesam will be there in their motherland. It is not so. Then, coming to the next point, that is point number 21. Indian Brahmins are described in the Indian literature as those priests who conducted the marriages, Hindu marriages. All Hindu marriages were conducted by Brahmins. They performed a yajna, a sacrifice, they chanted Vedic mantras, and the marriage was conducted. And only this particular community was allowed to do it. But we don't find such things happening in Germany. Germans don't conduct marriages or funeral rites or auspicious rites. They don't even know what a yajna or a sacrifice is. They don't know what a homa is. It is a technical term used here alone. Now, coming to the incarnations, some say that these Aryans from Germany or the Middle Eastern part of the world came to India. They wanted to show to the Indians, foolish Indians, that they are a superior race. They wrote all histories and Shastras, Puranas, Idihasas, Smritis, all emphasizing that they are superior to other people. If that is so, Ramayana was written by this Aryan race, or Mahabharata was written by Aryan race. In these books we find that the 10 incarnations of Lord Vishnu, of these 10 incarnations, Brahmin incarnations are only 2 or 3. Vamana Avatara, Parashurama Avatara, and Kalki Avatara. Kalki Avatara is yet to come. So the remaining 7 avatars are not Brahmin avatars. They are non-Brahmin incarnations. This Rama Avatara and Krishna Avatara, they are supposed to be Purna Avatars, complete incarnations. Lord Rama is not a Brahmin, he is a Kshatriya. Lord Krishna is not a Brahmin, he is a Yadava. So, if Brahmins or Aryans had such a motive, They would have written all itihasas that all the 10 incarnations of God are in the Brahmin caste only. No. They have so many saints born in non-Brahmin communities. So that doesn't hold good. So if Germans had come over to India to prove to the Indians that their race is the superiormost race, they would have written the Shastras in their own favor. That's not fact. Then the next point is, Smritis say, we have a social injunction book called Smriti. We have the Manusmriti, the Yajnavalkya Smriti, like that. These Smritis give us social laws. A man must marry this way, a man can do business this way. So all commercial relations and social relations were governed spiritually by these Smritis. These Smritis say that a bridegroom can belong to a higher caste than the brides, but the bride cannot belong to the higher caste. There were two kinds of marriages, Anuloma marriage and Pratiloma marriage. If the bridegroom belongs to a higher caste and the bride belongs to a lower caste, it is Anuloma. Or if both bride and bridegroom belong to the same caste, it is Anuloma. But if the bridegroom belongs to a higher caste and if the bride belongs to the higher caste and the bridegroom belongs to the lower caste, it is Pratiloma marriage. Now, I am speaking to you about one Puranic instance where Arjuna married Draupadi. Draupadi is a Kshatriya girl. Arjuna is going to marry Draupadi. But at that time, for certain social reasons, Arjuna was in the disguise of a Brahmin, even though he was a Kshatriya. When he was about to marry Draupadi, some objection comes. He says he is a Brahmin, she is a Kshatriya, how can this marriage take place? Then Dronacharya says, a Brahmin, because he belongs to a higher caste, can marry a girl belonging to the lower caste. So they were so much caste conscious even in marriage. When that is so, how do we expect a society or people coming from some foreign land with some foreign dirty habits to come and get settled in India to get married to women of Indian society? It is not possible. Then the next point speaks about the Second World War. The Second World War was going on, the whole world was shocked, it was afraid any moment, any bomb would fall on your head. There was a situation like that. Hitler was gaining day by day. At that time, it is an interesting sequence that all Indian Brahmins were praying for Hitler's defeat. No Brahmin wanted Hitler to win, because they knew Hitler was a despot, he was a dictator, he was a cruel man. If it is true that these Brahmins belonged to the race of Hitlers, they would have been praying for his success. They would have wished for his success. But no Brahmin in India was praying for Hitler's success. Everyone wanted that Hitler must lose the war. That shows that Hitler is not a Brahmin, or Brahmins are not Germans. Then, archaeological point. Archaeologically speaking, we have temple inscriptions